Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me?
Hi there, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kayla. If you're not new, thanks for coming back. Always happy to have you. If you are new, I like to post a lot of book and lifestyle content on this channel. So if that's something that interests you, you know what to do. Hit that red subscribe button. Stick around, give this video a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Today, we are back with another mini book review. If you hadn't noticed, if you watched the last one, which was The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, I'm pre-filming some because I'm on my lunch break and I have to do that. So today we are reviewing a poetry collection, which is the 9th book I've read so far in 2022, and that is Unlock Your Storybook Heart by Amanda Lovelace. I just want to preface, this video might be a little bit biased, okay? Amanda and I, she's my girl. I love Amanda Lovelace, I'll be honest. She was one of the first authors, writers, poets that I really interacted with via social media and developed kind of a relationship with via social media when my booktube bookstagram started back in like 2016, 2017. I was able to interact with her via Twitter and get her to come to my bookstore where I worked, which was really awesome. And I just spent a lot of time with Amanda Lovelace and I've been reading her work forever and just admire her very greatly. So I just want to put that out there. She also is one of the first, she is the first poet I ever read and thoroughly enjoyed and kind of inspired me to do my own poetry writing. So throwing that out as a disclaimer, but I am going to give a fair review of this book because I have some thoughts that I would like to share. So this is Unlock Your Storybook Heart, and it is the number 3 to the You Are Your Own fairy tale series. The other books are Shine Your Icy Crown, which is based kind of on the Ice Queen Frozen, and Break Your Glass Slippers by Amanda Lovelace. That is basically told, what am I saying? That is based off of Cinderella. They're all fairy tale centric, and I was very, very excited to read these. I loved Break Your Glass Slippers. Shine Your Icy Crown, I don't remember if I read or not. I don't have it on my shelf, so I feel like I didn't, but that might be like the only Amanda Lovelace book I haven't read. Let's dive right on into the prose. I'm gonna back you guys up a little bit because I feel a little bit like my head's getting cut off. So let's get into the prose. I loved this concept of a fairy tale themed poetry collection for the modern age. That felt like very Kirkus reviews of me. Loved the fairy tale aspect of it, the classic stories that we all know. But this one was cool because it was your own story becomes the fairy tale, which is really interesting. And a little bit, Amanda starts to weave a unique new fairy tale in the beginning that we're actually going to talk about. So I really appreciated this whole concept running through this series and this book. This is the last of that trilogy, so it is kind of like the unifying moment of all 3 of them. And what I especially loved about this book and why I so highly recommend it is because you can also probably hear my mac and cheese boiling in the background because sister is on lunch, like I said. One thing that just like stood out to me and just genuinely made me so happy while I was reading this collection was the theme was so clearly like it's absolutely okay to be who you are and to love yourself unconditionally. And I feel like that is messaging that's become so prevalent lately that I just love, and I truly appreciate like so many people promoting being themselves and loving themselves. And like I feel like that's a little cliche and a little cheesy, I'm not gonna lie, but like that was a messaging that I had to teach myself in a really, really big growing part of my life, if that makes sense. Like I really did not fully embrace posting on YouTube until I convinced myself that it didn't make me weird and that talking about books didn't make me a nerd. Like just being who I am was something that I had to learn myself. So reading a book like this that so focuses on being yourself and loving yourself was really, really nice and really refreshing. Typically with these poetry collections, one of the big like joys for me is I get it and I'm like, I'm gonna read this in an hour and I'm just gonna have like a happy little hour just full of joy, just reading these, getting through these. And they are quick, they're fast, they're not super long. The poems aren't super in depth or complex, which doesn't mean that they don't carry impact and meaning, which is awesome. They're quick, but they read kind of like daily affirmations, right? Like you could open up a random page and just have like a really positive, impactful reminder in front of you. So I almost use them like that. Like the ones that I recognize from her collections or I remember are the ones that I kind of are reminders that I need to hear or affirmations that I like to remember. So I really appreciate that in this collection as well, that they're just like quick, positive affirmations, and the whole fastness of this reading experience means it's just like an hour of positivity and like positive affirmations, which is a good thing. This is small, and this is, or I don't even want to say it's small because it's not. And it's in every single one of her collections, but I really appreciate that she puts a trigger warning list at the front of her collection. I think a lot of books should have trigger warnings, to be honest. I remember there was like a film and a book that I had to read in one of my college classes that was so triggering that we had no warning whatsoever from the professor. I feel like it should just kind of be a standard of publishing at this point to have a list of trigger warnings. And I know that triggers can be infinite for particular people, and that's all well and good, but there are some that you should definitely be warning people about. And I appreciate that she does that. And she's very thorough in her list of trigger warnings. I appreciate. I did just want to go check her Instagram and make sure that I'm not misgendering her. But her pronouns are she, they. So if I do slip up or if I say the wrong thing, correct me. I apologize. That is never my intention. But I think I've done okay so far. Let's talk about the cons of this collection. Kind of one that stuck out to me was the beginning of the story paints a really unique fairy tale that Amanda's built about this kingdom where there is like a locksmith key maker, and you know, you get a key and it unlocks the heart of your love, and their key will open yours when you're in love, and tells the story of this princess who gets a key that ends up unlocking her own heart. And it's just a very beautiful image. I would have loved to see that fairy tale kind of continue throughout the book. Like it would almost be like I was reading and I read that fairy tale and I was so excited to see it throughout, and then I'd be reading and then it would just like randomly come up again and be like, oh, I missed that. Like I missed that fairy tale, bring that back some more. And it just wasn't peppered in here as much as I wanted it to be, because it was such a cute and beautiful, like whimsical, fantastical concept that fit so well with the fairy tale theme and so well with this one, Unlocking Your Storybook Heart. And I just would have liked to see that fairy tale continue throughout the book a little bit more. Honestly, this is kind of the one that just, it makes me a little bit bummed, I'm not gonna lie. Typically when I read a collection of poetry, notably Amanda Lovelace, a lot of them resonate with me, and this maybe is just like a unique thing to me, but along with Amanda Lovelace and a couple other poets, when I'm having a bad day, it's sometimes nice to just go reread the poems that I really liked from those collections. And I do like the sticky flag thing so I can find them really easily and just like have a little bit of comfort in the poems that I've enjoyed from collections. You might notice that there are no sticky flags on this collection. And that is honestly because none of them truly like resonated with me enough that I was like, I would go back and seek out that poem again, which was a bummer, because that's different than the experiences I've had with Amanda Lovelace in the past. And I was really looking forward to just like, I literally had my flags ready to go. I was like, let's do this. Let's get some good other happy reminders to have, or just things like that. And for reference, these are two of her other poetry collections. The OG, The Princess Saves Herself in this one, and Whoever Tries to Burn You. The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one. This might be a better angle, but you can just see how many poems, if it will focus, like you can just see how many are flagged here in this collection. Like there are a lot here, right? And I can open these and I remember them, and it's just like a reminder of my first experience reading them, and it's just so like happy and delightful. It's like a happy memory, right? And I didn't have any with this one, and I was sad. So that that was kind of a bummer that none of them like truly resonated with me. Though another pro I kind of forgot to mention is that a lot of the times with these books, I feel really seen. Like there are experiences that I'm like, okay, I'm not alone in that experience. So that was like a comfort in this book, but none that I was like, oh my god, like this is something that I need to go back and like review and see a lot, which was a bit of a bummer. Another pro that I also forgot, these illustrations are beautiful, and like this full color page, I want to live wherever this is. This is going to be my future house. Like all right, I'll take one, please. Express shipping, that's where I want to live. Okay, so every time I got to that, these were the things I wanted to flag. Like I wanted to flag this and go back to this again and again. Because I was like, I just want to live there. And it came up throughout the book, and I got so excited every time I saw that full color illustration. While I enjoyed Unlock Your Storybook Heart, it was not my favorite collection, which is a bummer for me. I do think, what is my favorite collection? TBD on what my favorite collection is. Just not my favorite, which was kind of a bummer. But lastly, would I recommend that you read this collection of poetry? Even though it was not my favorite, I would absolutely say yes. And maybe it's more generically, like if you haven't yet, go read something by Amanda Lovelace. And I know that there are tons of poets out there, but Amanda Lovelace is I think a really accessible place to start, especially if you're intimidated by poetry. It's, like I said, not overcomplicated in form. There are really kind of like common themes and experiences, and I think there's a lot to take away from them, and there are reminders in these collections. So I would say yes, absolutely read this book or something from Amanda Lovelace. These are super empowering and helpful and impactful collections, and I think that she connects with a lot of readers through her words. So they're just like whimsical and fantastical and lovely, and just Amanda's a darling of a human being. So I would still say, even though that this is not my favorite collection of hers, absolutely go read it. It's super fast, it's an enjoyable experience, there's some good reminders in there, and it's a really great place if you want to try poetry, you're intimidated by it, you've never read it before, you don't enjoy it, or you haven't enjoyed it in the past. This might be a great place to start. And I want to finish this video a little bit differently by reading to you two poems that I did enjoy throughout this book, and I had to go back and reread it prior to this video to find some for you. So we got page 57. Her books say, some change happens gradually. Some change happens in the blink of an eye, and some change manages to do both at the same time. Think about it in terms of how summer transforms into autumn. It seems like the leaves will never stop being green, will never stop dancing in the sunlight, until one morning you look out your window and every tree has been touched by Midas. Rest assured, your golden hour is coming. The more love and patience and compassion you give yourself, the closer you'll get. Trust the process. And then we've got on page 92. This one is untitled, but think of your life like a first draft that's forever in the works. With the right words, with the right editing, it can always be improved upon. Nothing is so definitive that you need to decide it's doomed. Couple little reminders for you today. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. If you liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you have thoughts on Amanda Lovelace, if you have thoughts on her other collections, if you have thoughts on like Unlock Your Storybook Heart, if you read it, did you like it, did you not, what did you rate it? I gave this a 4-star rating, and if you didn't or you haven't read poetry, let me know why. Ask a question, maybe I can help you get there. If you have other poets to read, recommend those to me too. Always happy to have a growing TBR. I will see you guys in my next one. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me?